Elizabeth, and welcome back for another realistic recipe with Liz. This is a recipe I've been wanting to throw together. We're crooked, hold on. All right, so, okay, I think we're fine. So, anyways, I just got back from a walk, and I'm gonna take my kid to go get a haircut in a minute and go enjoy a summer movie. But I wanted to throw together this recipe because it feels very summery to me, so let's give it a go. We are making a peach cake with like a brown sugar. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it now. Okay, the name of it's on the video. Okay, so very easy. We're going to start with like a yellow cake mix, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do a yellow cake mix, put it all together, and we're going to cut up some peaches and put them in the cake mix and cook it like that. So obviously this part will be very easy. We're just gonna throw it together. And again, like I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to start putting together recipe videos like this that are very thrown together, and like, you know, I'm not dressed cute or anything. Just so that, you know, we can just be real. We can be real together. Most of the time when I have stuff like this going on, life is busy. Life is busy for all of us. So what I'm adding here, you guys, is just the water and oil that is required for the cake mix itself. And then we just got 3 eggs, which we're going to toss in there. Sure about eggs because we don't have chickens anymore. No regrets. I'm going to try to be an influencer over here. I actually do love mixing things by hand. I always have. Got a nice stand mixer on the counter. Literally never use it, and I wouldn't have paid, that one right there, wouldn't have paid hundreds of dollars for it personally. It was a gift from my mother. So there she is. She's an ornament on the counter. So we're just gonna mix up our cake mix. We're gonna make a mess all over the counter because that's what we do. If you're someone that also likes to hand mix, I'm just going to toss this in here. I'm a firm believer that the mood that you're in when you're making your food is the energy you're putting into your food. I love to cook. I especially love to bake. I love to feed people. And so I'm always happy when I am cooking. And I feel like when people eat my food, they feel happy. Prove me wrong. Energetic exchange. Okay, we're going to set this aside. I'm going to move this too because this is for our icing. These these poor little peaches have been like almost past their prime. My husband has been wanting to eat them. And I was like, no, they're for a recipe. You can't have them. I actually did buy like 6 because I wasn't sure how many I would need. And he managed to eat like 3 of them before I even noticed that he was eating them. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So, are you supposed to skin the peach? I think you are. I go, not even knowing. See, in the recipe they're using just canned peaches, and I thought I'd be extra and use actual peaches that were fresh and in season. I was inspired to find and make this recipe because of the new tree that we put in our orchard this year. It's a peach tree, and it had several flowering peaches on it, little tiny little baby peaches, and we watched them grow for like a month. It was really exciting, right? And then eventually they fell off, or our dog knocked them off, because it's a new tree, so they're low to the ground. And my lab is big. She's a big girl. And honestly, a lot of it was by accident. And eventually, over time, we lost like all 8 of our tiny little growing peaches, but it's okay. I'm excited for the tree to really get its roots in and be healthy and happy, and we can have a little harvest next year, which is really a much more realistic, attainable goal when you just put in that tree this year. But anyways, so that's why I was looking up some peach recipes, not to use our new peaches, but just kind of had peaches on the brain, which is funny to say that because we have a cat named Peaches. Peaches on the brain. Would y'all ever see her? Because she's a weird, awkward inside cat, and she hides. She's my oldest son's cat, and she hides in his room. That's her whole world. She does not come out of there ever. Once upon a time, she was an outside cat. And when she lived under our shed, and you would rarely ever see her. She would hardly ever come out, during the day at least. And she's socially awkward. Her personality matches my son's personality. That's how she became his. Anyways. You're probably going to tell me there's like a way easier way to do this. I know I wasn't planning on sitting here shaving peaches, but whatever. I just want the recipe to be like as good as possible. And also, so let me just kind of clarify this. In case you follow the recipe that's going to be linked below, it's also going to be saved on my Pinterest. It calls for you to leave these, the peaches, kind of like bite-sized pieces. So obviously it calls for like using canned, store-bought peaches. And then you would just kind of cut them into bite-sized pieces instead of slices and put them in the cake mix like that. I'm not a big fan of like really biting into cooked soft fruit. Like I'm not an apple pie eater. Can't do it. Can't do the cooked fruit. So because of that, I want this flavor right from this recipe. I don't want that texture issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my stuff way smaller. Oh look, you can actually see now. I'm such a great filmer / host. All right. Again, we're just being real. Welcome to my real kitchen. My real life. I'm just going to keep throwing that out there because I have really been influenced. Ooh, look how that sounds so fresh. Oh my gosh, good. Anyways, I've really been influenced lately by influencers. People on I'm actually going to do a dice. That just feels right to me. I'm just going to literally just dice it up. I want tiny little pieces. Okay? Anyways, these people online talking about how ridiculous influencers are. And, I'm not dumb to the fact that because I create videos and I have followers on Instagram and I have a blog and Pinterest and all of that, someone could call me an influencer. But I really don't want to be like lumped. Like I don't want to be lumped into that category of people. So I pretty often am kind of trying to do like a reality check with myself, making sure I keep, myself in line, my values, not be titling things to get views and whatever. Like I just love sharing. I'm an oversharer by nature. And I mean, if I could do things to get paid for it, then of course I'm going to do that because why wouldn't I, right? But I'm not out here trying to be, mega influencer or making millions or anything. All of my content is educational. I love to share, help people learn, grow things, grow food, make food, do different things like that. My bookkeeping business, all that. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm not about the let's set up a great shot and edit this phenomenal video that changes frames every so many seconds because people's attention span is too short to watch you naturally in your natural habitat, as if we were sitting here doing this together. So I'm not going to do that, you guys. I'm not going to film and edit myself in a way that a short attention span can kind of hold on to me. If you can't, you know, then you can't. Then we're not hanging out, because this is how we would hang out in real life. Is you would be across the island from me while I'm making something cool. We'd have a great conversation, because I love to talk, I love to listen, love to laugh. Probably be playing some Chris Stapleton, really vibing in here. My dog is walking around. This is real life, and so I just want to bring you along. I do feel like my kitchen has like a that kitchen aesthetic, because I love interior design. That's not for YouTube. That's literally for me. I'm a very visual person. My spaces need to be beautiful. They need to be clean. That's how I work. So I do that for me. That's not for you. That's not for the camera. That's for this chick. Okay, cool. We finally got all these chopped up and had a great chat in the process. Okay. This is going to be... I'm happy with the size of these. I should have wore a mic for this. I realized that's not really being bougie. That's just being helpful. Y'all, if you could smell these. They smell fabulous. We're going to do this one-handed because, again, that's... Okay, I can't do that one-handed because they want to stay. Look at this. Yeah, okay, girl, come on over there. That's pretty looking. Hold on. All right, we made it. Get out of the kitchen. Thank you. All right, look how pretty. Oh my gosh. Yum. This would be cool as cupcakes too. I thought about doing that when I went to go grab my pan, and then I decided, nope, because then I'd have to go find other stuff. Let's just get this baby going, because I got to leave the house in about 45 minutes and I want to try it before we leave. So, all right. So once you put your peaches in here, you just, you know, cook this like a normal cake. So I'm going to throw that in there and get it in the oven. Ooh, she is lovely. Awesome. Can't wait to try that. Okay, so cake is in the oven. So our next step, I've measured out my ingredients here, which I do this even though I'm not filming. This is for my own sanity, okay? So we are putting together brown sugar, heavy whipping cream, and butter in a saucepan, because we're gonna make our brown sugar icing. Okay, so that's super cool. So I have them here, okay? Brown sugar, throw that in there. Here's my heavy whipping cream. Again, measurements are listed below. And then it calls for a whole stick of butter. And it says to cut it up, which we're melting it. So I don't know why, but let's be a rule follower. Let's just cut it up. It's one of those things, like, you know, when you're making homemade bread, it matters. It matters that your butter is frozen. And homemade biscuits and stuff, it acts differently. So let's chop it up because it says so. I got everything over here. I'm making a big old mess on my island. This is why I love my island. I can just trash it, make my recipe, and then clean it and I'm done. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this on the stove, get stuff melted. It says stir constantly, bring to a boil. I'll bring you over there with me in a sec. And then we'll take it off the heat and we'll add some vanilla. And then we'll whisk in our powdered sugar. And that'll make our icing. Like I said, I like cleaning as I go, because it helps me. Right. Teaspoon. All right. I'm a wooden spoon girl. Are you? Look at this cool weird one I got with a new pan recently. That must have come, I think maybe that came with my rice maker thing. I just love all my wooden spoons. Okay. I love a recipe that says stir constantly because I'm a stirrer anyways, you know. Are you? I love to stir stuff. I probably over stir things. Nice. Okay, so we're just gonna keep this going because we want to melt that butter down. You see it's still chunky in there. And then because I am just like a realistic person, I realized just a minute ago I am running low on time. And literally the cake's going to come out of the oven when I'm leaving the house, you guys. It's so funny. So once we get this icing whipped up, I need to go make sure my sun is up. I need to go turn the pool off. Do all those other things. Get myself dressed. So you're going to see an outfit change. So I'm not going to go to town in my exercise clothes. So anyways, we're just going to do this. Keep stirring it. I have a whisk handy because I'm going to need this. Because it says to whisk in the powdered sugar because obviously you want to make sure you get your lumps out. I'm going to tell you now, I am not one who really gives a crap about lumps. Like, we're not having a contest here. We're just going to eat it. If it's pretty and cute in my pictures, super duper, yay. But really what's most important is flavor. So, yeah. So I'm not going to sift it. Recipe says to sift this. I ain't got time for that. So I ain't doing it. Feel free to, though, if you want to. I mean, if I had time, I would do it. I just happened to not this morning. Because, you know, summer movie with the kids, more important than perfection in the kitchen. Alright, so I'm just going to keep stirring this and stare at this and be back with you in a minute. Look how lovely this is turning out up close. Ooh, it's like caramel. Just got a few little butter chunks left in there. And if I stop stirring, you can see it trying to, it's bubbling on the edges there. We don't want that to burn. That's why it says stir constantly. Don't want the bottom to burn. I think we're good here. We just want to make sure all the butter is melted and everything is all good. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off the heat. There we go. Okay, I also moved it back a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. I can get any of that off the edges there. It literally smells like caramel, which I guess that's what that is. But anyways, so I'm going to give that, I'm going to get my vanilla ready. Everything's better with vanilla. Smells divine. Probably gonna have to, I probably started this a little too early and I'm gonna have to like warm it a smidge because it says to pour over the cake as soon as it's done, and my cake has 25 minutes left. So I'm not sure how thick this is gonna turn out. So I guess we'll just, let me get you back up on the tripod. Alright, so maybe I'll start with the spoon just to incorporate it. It says that when you're mixing in the powdered sugar, if you're having issues, I guess, it says you can kind of kick the heat back on, I guess, so to warm it up. Alright, so we're just gonna keep doing this. This is working fine. It's lumpy, of course, but right now we're just incorporating because powdered sugar is a pain in the butt. She's sweet, but she's annoying. Alright. Okay, can you see that's incorporating pretty good? We're just getting the sides. It kind of looks like oatmeal right now from afar. See, looks like oatmeal. All right. Now, I'm going to pull in my whisk. It's definitely very lumpy, so I understand the sifting the powdered sugar, but again, like I said, I'm not going to fret over it if it's lumpy on the cake. But if you like that, like really thin, shiny kind of icing where it like sheets over the cake, sift your powdered sugar. A lot of the lumps are actually coming out because I'm being pretty aggressive with it. Smells like caramel. It's gonna be good. This is gonna be yummy. Yeah, this consistency is perfect. Right now, this is actually reminding me of homemade peanut butter icing, which I have not made that in a bit. I should do that. Let me know if you want to see a video on that. It's divine. Okay. All right, let me show you the consistency. Okay. So this is what I mean about while I have 20 plus minutes for my cake to get done, is this will likely firm up. So I will just play that by ear. I'm literally going to leave it here on the stove so it stays warm. And if it looks like it needs it, I will put a little heat to it right before, because the idea is to pour it over the cake. I might actually poke some holes in the cake too and do it like a poke cake. It doesn't say to do that in the recipe, but that sounds good to me. Anyways, you can see how a lot of the lumps came out. It looks really good. So, sweet. So, I'm going to go get myself ready, get my kid up, do all that stuff. Because right now we're just going to wait for the cake to be done. And I'll bring you guys back when we're pouring the icing on. Yay! Alright, so where we are now is everything but the cake is done. Sorry for that bright light over there. I got myself ready, pool's ready, kids ready. Just checked the cake. It's got 5 minutes left. I checked it. Not done. I was hoping it was done. Fingers crossed, but it wasn't. Anyway, so timer has 5 minutes left. So I'm literally going to be pulling this out and icing it and leaving the house. So I'll be trying it this afternoon when we get back from the movie. Because like I don't want to rush that process. So besides, when you're making a homemade warm icing, you want to let it simmer down anyway. So let me show you what the consistency of this looks like now after it's been setting for like 15 minutes. See, it's got like that thin crust on it, but it's good enough to pour. So I'm not going to worry about warming it up, but it's almost reminds me of like the glaze on a donut, like that. It's kind of got like a really thin crust. By the way, if you like my fingernails, this is from Mooncat, I think is what that's called. Yeah, love this. I did a short on them recently, like not sponsored or anything, but an influencer influenced me to try them, and I do love the nail polish. But anyway, so we're just gonna wait some more while we're late for our appointment for this cake. Nice. Okay, here we go. Don't mind my crumbs over here because I need to clean my stove like literally every day. All right, I'm just gonna give this a little good stir to get it more liquidy again. I'm probably gonna need a spoon for this guy. Use this. That's how thick that is now. It's kind of a little gloppy. But the warmth of this cake will make it kind of spread more again. And since this is the kind of cake pan I'm doing and I'm not like cutting this top mound off, we're going to have lots of icing settle in the edges. I don't care. I did not do pokes. Did not make it a poke cake. Almost reminds me of like a, what do you call that? Texas sheet cake where you just pour the icing over
My gosh, look how divine that looks. I don't even need to like smear it around. Oh my god, look at that. Ah, that's gonna be so good. Alright, let me just get all this goodness. That's gonna be some thick icing. I could have used a wider pan, but I wanted to use this pretty blue one because it's got these ruffly edges and it makes my heart happy. Alright, we're just gonna, yeah, it's just kind of spreading to the edges. Wow. Alright, here's what it looks like now. Got that little hump in the middle because that's where the cake is, but anyway, so I'm going to be back in a bit. We will try this when it has cooled down. Okay, so we're home like 5 hours later, and this is what it honestly looks like. Isn't that so funny that it kind of slid like that? Again, that's just because of the shape of my pan. Just being super transparent with you guys. Let me cut out a piece and we'll give it a try. Oh my gosh, look how moist and yummy that looks. Dog over here, super curious. Alright, so I'm going to get a bite right on the edge so there's not like a ton of icing on it. Oh my god. Wow. That's like even better than I expected. Whoa, that icing is so good. And you can taste, so you can just barely taste the peaches in the ice cream. I mean the cake. Y'all, just that icing is like a total home run. My gosh, that's good. I'm gonna get a bite here on the edge where it's like real thick with icing. Oh my god. Mercy. Me and my husband are gonna be tearing this up. Y'all, you gotta try this. And no regrets on dicing up the peaches really small. I think that is like a winner. See how small the pieces are there? Yeah. That's so good. You gotta give this a try. That's what it looks like. So, if you wanted to treat it like a sheet cake, you could make it in a regular pan, and then once it cools, pop it out, maybe cut this so that it's flat, and then you could put that on like a bigger sheet, almost like you would do a Texas sheet cake, and do a pour over, and you could see the icing consistency reminds me of a Texas sheet icing. Anyways, but because we had this kind of soaked down in there, it does look really, it's just really moist and perfect in there. I love that. I love a good moist cake. If it's dry, I just literally won't eat it. So this is phenomenal. This just looks silly. And again, you saw that. That's just because I could have cut that off if I was worried about it looking Pinterest perfect. But again, that's not me and that's not what we're doing here. We are just making delicious food and sharing it because sharing is caring. So anyways, comment below if you give this a try. If you want to save it for later, click the recipe link down in the description. Super easy to pin to Pinterest from the blog there. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a super day.